What's going on, guys? Chris Travis here with Phandroid.com. Now today we're going to be talking about the Google Pixel. I've been spending a lot of time with both the devices, and in this video I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite things about these phones and some of my biggest frustrations with them as well. So without further ado, these are the biggest pros and cons about the Google Pixel. The Google Pixel is actually the first phone made by Google. Although that doesn't technically mean that they were the ones that manufactured the phone. That was actually left up to HTC. It is the first time they ever had full say over the hardware. Everything from the phone's design to the hardware and even the software running on the phone, it's now 100% up to Google specifications and nobody else. Another big pro about the Google Pixel is it's fast as hell. Now I know we say this about a lot of phones, especially new phones that come out, and they're running, sort of all the same Snapdragon 8 whatever processor. But there's a lot of little things in the Google Pixel that kind of help with this. There's UFS 2.0, there's a Snapdragon 821 processor, 4 gigabytes of DDR RAM, and an incredibly low touchscreen latency. It's all these things working together with stock Android to deliver an incredibly snappy, fast, responsive user experience that will continue to deliver in years to come. The camera on the Pixel is also unrivaled. Using a combination of hardware and software tricks, Google has absolutely delivered the best performing smartphone camera we've seen to date. Now, a lot of this actually has to do with HDR+. This is the Pixel's now default shooting mode, which combines several raw photos to produce one single clear, crisp, and incredibly vibrant photo, even in low light. Now, this also applies to the front-facing camera, which is just absolutely outstanding. You'll never again have to worry about whether or not the lighting is, absolutely perfect or optimal in any given situation. Another big pro is there's actually a small model that's no longer just a handicapped version of the larger one. Both the Pixel and Pixel XL actually feature the exact same hardware, processor, camera, all that fun stuff, with the exception of a slightly smaller battery on the regular model and a lower resolution display. For those of you that prefer smaller, sometimes known as mini smartphones, the Google Pixel is your absolute best option. The Google Pixel is also running stock Android with updates directly from Google. With the Pixel, you no longer have to worry about whether or not your manufacturer, or worse yet, your carrier, will get around to updating your device. With the Pixel, all of that is being handled by Google. There's no longer a middleman or two. So now here comes the fun part, the cons. The Pixel definitely isn't perfect, and the bezels on both the regular and XL are stupid big. This isn't really a huge problem on the smaller model, but for the XL, it increases the overall footprint, which would have been a reasonably sized device without them. Battery life on the regular Pixel is also pretty average, although you're probably used to this if you're coming from any other smaller sized smartphones. It would have been nice to see Google throw a couple extra double A's or something in this thing, like seriously. And the camera, although fantastic, suffers from an incredible amount of just excessive glare. It's not every shot, but it does just sort of pop up randomly, and it's a little bit weird. And although this is technically a hardware issue, Google said that they're going to be pushing out a software update to help minimize this little quirk with the camera, but I'm not entirely convinced this problem is going to completely go away. Finally, we have a long list of no's. Now, though, I wouldn't really consider these huge cons. These could be sort of a big deal depending on your preferences. First up, there's no water resistance. Water resistance is sort of just that nice little peace of mind that manufacturers have been giving us. We first saw it with Galaxy, and then this year with the Apple iPhone 7. And it's just kind of nice to know that water is no longer your phone's worst enemy. There's also no 64 gigabyte model. This is probably my biggest frustration, simply because the 32 gigabyte model is a little bit too small for my taste. I'm already getting kind of close to maxing out the internal storage. And while Google does provide, cloud services and stuff for backing up, it would have been nice to just have a nice, just 64 gigabyte model. Like, why the heck not? Instead, they offer a 128 gigabyte model for $100 extra, and it just seems like a huge oversight. Like, what are you thinking? There's also no wireless charging, and you would have thought that because of the glass back, or at least I did, I was kind of crossing my fingers that maybe they would add wireless charging this year, although we've seen Google kind of move away from that in previous Nexus devices. Still, again, I was crossing my fingers, but it seems that Google has completely abandoned that hardware feature. There's also no SD card slot for the people that care about that, and there's no removable battery. These are all sort of just legacy hardware features that we've seen on a lot of older devices. Again, not a huge deal because I don't really take advantage of any of those features, but for those that care, it could be a pretty big con. Now, a lot of you probably thought I was going to be mentioning the high price tag on the Google Pixels, but this is a premium top tier smartphone manufactured by well, manufactured by HTC, made by Google, and it's just as expensive as, you know, the most recent Galaxy or iPhone. Simply put, you get what you pay for, and the Pixel is just about the most amazing Android smartphone you can buy, and the proof is in the pudding. And that's gonna wrap up this list of pros and cons for the Google Pixel. I hope this video was informative to you guys. For the full written review, make sure you guys check it out on Phandroid.com. It's pretty lengthy, and I do go into much more detail about just about every aspect of the phone. We also have an awesome post on the first things you should do when you get your Google Pixel, as well as 40+ tips and tricks with the Google Pixel, covering every single feature on the phones you can possibly think of. With that, I'm Chris Chavez. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.